Welcome to Medicaid Mastery, a cut above explaining the real long-term care Medicaid system.
Welcome back to Medicaid Mastery with Tony Turbeville. Tony is the founder of Platinum Benefit Services, where he and his team have helped more than 16,000 families secure Medicaid benefits while protecting their assets and peace of mind. I'm Kevin Rosenquist, and today we're talking about an important question for many families. How do Medicaid benefits and Veterans Aid and Attendance work together? If you were a loved one, served in the military, and now need long-term care, well, this episode is for you. Tony, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so interesting topic. Could you start by explaining first what Veterans Aid and Attendance is and who is eligible for it?
Sure. So the Aid and Attendance Program is a program designed for the elderly to allow the elderly to stay in their home uh, or an assisted living facility, and the family can actually be paid for caring for them. Now, not a spouse, but anybody can be paid for caring for the veteran. And the amounts range from $1,500 a month, tax free, to about $2,800 and some change a month, I believe, this year. And that depends on whether you're the surviving spouse of a veteran, are you married or not married? So there's a range of benefits that it pays for, but it is designed to keep people at home or in assisted living. The Did you ask me about Medicaid? Oh, yeah. You said how they work together, right?
Well, yeah, that was actually my next question. I was just curious what the aid and attendance is, but how does it differ from Medicaid in terms of what it covers and how families can use it?
Okay. So the Veterans Aid and Attendance benefit does not pay for nursing home, doesn't pay anything for nursing. The people who qualify for the Veteran Aid and Attendance program, there's a few criteria, and I'm not going to get into the detail of it, but they have to have served at least 90 days in the military, at least one day during wartime, and they have to be in theater. Okay. So there's some criteria, the dates of what wartime is. It's actually a broader date range than most people think. They can qualify for Medicaid if they need help with activities of daily living, like dressing, transferring from one place to another, toileting, bathing, feeding themselves, that kind of thing. So that's who qualifies now.
And we've talked a lot in previous episodes about how having a certain asset, certain money affects your Medicaid eligibility, affects your benefits. Can you do these at the same time, or does one? Can people get? Can having aid and attendance affect someone's Medicaid eligibility?
Actually, excellent question. There are not many people that attorney or non-attorney that really know how to coordinate the VA benefits and the Medicaid benefits together, because you have two different programs with two different sets of rules that often conflict with each other. Mm-hmm. So you have to be very careful when you're applying for both that you're not stepping on the other program, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, I think it's $157,400 is the amount that a community spouse can have, and the other person qualify for Medicaid. But in VA, even a single person can have $157,400. In Medicaid, they can only have $2,000, right? So if you have a single person with $150,000, they can get the Medicaid, they can get the VA, but to get the Medicaid, we got to rearrange that money to get it down to under the $2,000, even though VA said it's okay. Now, once we do that, then we get both benefits, and let's say it's $1,500 from the VA and $1,500 from Medicaid for assisted living. Now you're getting $3,000 a month towards the assisted living that maybe only costs $3,500, mm-hmm. right? So that really goes a long way, and putting both programs together is an excellent way to fund long-term care, whether it's home health care or assisted living.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So if a veteran starts out receiving aid and attendance at home or even in assisted living, but eventually needs to move to nursing home care, is that transition difficult to get from one to the other? And how does it affect benefits that they currently have?
It's not a difficult transition at all.
Okay.
So what would happen is when they go from home health or assisted living to the nursing home just starts billing Medicaid under a different, starts billing Medicaid under a different code, right? And there's one form that has to get filled out. I believe it's a 2515, but don't hold me to that. I don't do the administrative part of it. But one form filed and they bill differently. So the Medicaid will now start paying up to the 14,000 a month, depending on the income. But the VA, you have to report to VA that they've now moved to a nursing home. VA is now going to reduce their income to the $90 that I explained earlier, which is a personal needs allowance. So the person doesn't have to pay that to the nursing home. They can use it for whatever they want. Medicaid gives $160 a month personal needs allowance. So if you get both of those, you're getting $270 a month, and that's great. But you better make sure you spend it, because if you don't, then you get over the $2,000 a month for Medicaid and you get kicked off the Medicaid, right? So there's these moving parts you got to take care of and pay attention to.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, does it happen sometimes where people just sort of forget, like to pay that, like in that example you just gave, like that extra $200, and then they get kind of in trouble on their benefits?
Yes, absolutely. If they use us, we kind of run interference. Like we generally do the annual review for them if they choose for us to do it once we get them approved. And so what happens is, before the annual review, we look at the last 3 months bank statements and we go, all right, y'all messed up. You got too much money in here. Mm-hmm. So then we help them rearrange that money. And then what happens is Medicaid looks back and says, well, you didn't qualify. That's an overpayment. So we have the right to collect it back, to which we get to say, where are you going to collect it from? They don't have any money. And they go, yeah, that's right. And they just keep moving. So it can be fixed, but you got to fix it proactively before you get to the actual annual review, or they'll deny your benefits going forward until you fix it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I've told you before, Tony, you're always so good at explaining things because even I can understand it. But
Right.
I will tell you this definitely adds a wrinkle, huh? The attendance and the aid and attendance definitely makes things more complicated. What would you say are the biggest hurdles or even mistakes that families have or make as they're trying to navigate these two things together?
I haven't seen anybody who's tried to navigate both of these on their own. I think that people realize if they're going for both benefits, it's not a do-it-yourselfer kind of thing.
Yeah.
They make the mistake and think it is if they're doing just one, but when they get two, even they go, I need help, and they reach out. So haven't run into that.
Okay. All right. And that's good. I'm glad to hear that, because that sounds like a really complicated thing to try to balance all this. And when you're trying to like just figure out your care, I mean, you don't want to have to then worry about this on top of it. So that's great that people can see that, have that foresight to go, you know what, I think I better bring a pro in on this one.
Yeah, they do.
I was just curious if if there's a difference when it's the veteran spouse who needs the care versus when the veteran is the patient.
Right. So the rules are pretty much the same. And here's the easy way to remember it. In VA, everything counts except the house and a car. Everything. IRAs, under distribution, everything counts. In Medicaid, a lot doesn't count. Right. So there's not too many things you can do to qualify for VA at the last minute. Now, they still allow what's called a personal services contract, and they will allow you to transfer your house. They don't care about it. But if you sell your house, then the money from the sale of the house is an issue. With Medicaid, everything counts or doesn't, right? So
Mm-hmm.
let me rephrase that. It didn't come out quite right. With
I knew what you meant, but sure.
with Medicaid, everything counts until you find a reason or an exception for it to not count. Mm-hmm. So, for example, house doesn't count, it's protected. Car doesn't count. Cars over 7 years old don't count. IRAs under distributions don't count. Legally unavailable assets where you own some property with your brother and your brother refuses to sell doesn't count. VA counts all that. Medicaid doesn't. So there's not too much you can do in VA planning, but there's a ton you can do in Medicaid planning, and that's where you kind of have to fit them together.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that these VA benefits that we're talking about, is this a little less complicated than Medicaid? Is it more a little straightforward as far as how it works?
Yeah, it's more straightforward. It's easier to get through that process if you don't have huge assets. So, strangely enough, if you have $1 million in an investment account, it's going to be pretty hard to get VA.
Mm-hmm.
If you have $1 million in an investment account, I can get you Medicaid all day long.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
That
So,
is crazy.
yeah, so if you have $100,000 and you're within the VA limits, great, get your VA, no problem, and can rearrange that 100,000 and get the Medicaid as well. You get to that $1 million investment account or whatever the number is, right? I can get you the Medicaid, but I may not be able to get you the VA.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's very interesting to me. I would have thought it would have almost made more sense the other way around.
It is counterintuitive for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is there one that comes first? Do you do the VA benefits first before you apply for Medicaid?
Yes, we do generally do the VA benefits first.
Okay. So if anyone listening is going down this road, that's the focus on that first, and then get the Medicaid. Well, first of all, hire somebody. That's but you're gonna do the VA part first is what they should be prepared for.
In most cases, right?
Okay.
It kind of depends. If you're within the limits on both, like you have a husband and wife case, and Medicaid says the community spouse can have 157, 400, whatever it is, and VA says the same thing, then we can truly do them simultaneously. We
Mm-hmm.
can apply for the VA while we're applying for the Medicaid. But if we have
Okay.
excess assets in the VA, particularly, we're going to have to do it first. And we got the transfer of the house issue, particularly if the family's going to want to sell the house.
Mm-hmm.
You got to move it to a specialized trust first, then sell it. Then the proceeds in the trust don't count for VA. And Medicaid didn't count it as a gift to that type of trust until it's turned into cash, and then you got to do something with that cash for Medicaid. So it's I wouldn't say it's 3D chess, but it can get a little complicated.
Yeah, and it sounds like the best advice we can give anyone who found our podcast because they're looking into these benefits is kind of don't do anything until they talk to someone like you. Like don't do anything. Like don't sell anything. Don't like move stuff. Just wait and find out the best way to do it because there legitimately is a road you should be taking.
There is, and I can almost always unwind the bad road you went down, but it sure is a lot of extra work and complication for the family and for us.
Hmm. Yeah,
So, so yes, it's great advice. Don't do anything,
just don't
right?
do anything.
Don't
Just
do
find
anything. Get
somebody
some
first.
help, and then you'll get a map laid out for you of
Right.
exactly what makes sense to do. And of course, we'll hold your hand and get you all the way through it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thanks for listening to this episode of Medicaid Mastery with Tony Turbeville. If you or a loved one is a veteran facing long-term care needs, Tony and his team at Platinum Benefit Services can help you understand how Medicaid and veterans benefits work together and guide you through the process step by step. As we just said, talk to him first. Go to Tony first by visiting platben.com. That's platben.com to learn more. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and please share this episode with someone who could use this information because it's definitely very important. Tony, thanks so much for giving us all your insight. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.